took all my time, but you weren't really mine, just something to do. Thought I never knew. No surprise, but nevertheless, I'm still stuck in self-defense. No surprise, but nevertheless, I get lost when I look in your eyes. I just want to be next to your I get lost when I look in your eyes. Do you even do you even leave now, make your escape.
Yeah, hit him with the hawk, yeah, hit him with the hawk, yeah. Feel like Professor X, Iron Man, I feel like Tony Stark. Every time I step out the house, I feel radical. Plus I'm pissed off, like my middle name is goddammit. Beanie, Vici, yeah, I can make your top vanish. All seeing nine cyclops with the doctor visor. Watch me change clothes, then I turned into a top designer. Hypocrite nation shape, shift into a Nona water. Beetlejuice flow, creepy crawly, now I'm Spider-Man. 8-ball in the pocket, David Blaine, now you're Peter Pan. Rabbit at my top, hell yeah, I'm gnarly man. Everything's a secret, have me dripping like the majesty. My eyes closed shut, have me speaking Japanese. Ice cream truck, paint job, mixed with Ben and Jerry. Heart attack city, now I'm singing with Mariah Carey. West Bank, Gaza Strip, I'm turning up in Palestine. Last name, Cupid, shoot your ass like it's Valentine. Yin Yang, symbol Fibonacci, that's a 69. Heinz 57, catch up, now it's dinner time. Hit him with the hawk, whoa, hit him with the hawk, yeah. Feel like Professor X, Iron Man, I feel like Tony Stark. Hit him with the hawk, whoa, hit him with the hawk, yeah. Feel like Professor X, Iron Man, I feel like Tony Stark. Shoot him through the drive-through, yeah, I can take his order. Alpha with the dog food, I cut it with that Richie Porter. Jason Tatum flow, now we shoot him with the side step. Holy moly, donut shop, I whip it with the Pyrex, yeah. Yes, Indiana Jones, but I feel like Johnny Quest. Every time I step out the house, I'm the best dressed. Hit it with that hawk, then I hit it with that baking soda. Tractor trailer, Bobby hit the bag, then I back it up. Red versus blue, and you know I'm just black as fuck. Hopping out your kitchen sink, I'm swimming through your aqueducts. Badass kid, whoop his ass, he just acting up. Just touched down, holy moly, bag the 50 count. Girls gone wild, and I think I see some titties out. Mr. Trump-tastic, I had to bring the city out. I feel like Randy Moss, catching plays with the quickest route. Dropping breadcrumbs, but you know I took the paper route. 100 Biden grams, hit that nose with a bag of salt. Smoky Mountain rib, then I hit it with a dab of salt. Rocket board 2, hit the gas, then I'm blasting off. Red versus blue, I bet I bubble like I'm Pepsi Cola. I feel like Jesus Christ, Captain Planet, name I'm Quetzalcoatl. Left hand shooter, shoot your ass like it's James Harden. Yeah, I'm so cold, I'm saying surfing on the beach toppers. Heavyweight champ, box you in like Bernard Hawkins. 3 strikes, yeah, I earn my stripes like the referee. Mozzarella dripper, Velveeta with the cheddar cheese. I got it for the half, but he bought it for the 10 keys. Hit it with that hawk, then I mix it with the Hennessy. Red nose pit, arm and hammer, I'm a different breed. Hit it with that hawk, yeah. Hit him with
Yes. Sorry for the wait. I had to share the video. Make sure you like and share the video, family. Yes, this is footage of the Iranian response. Trump said he's going to open the gates of hell. Let's read, y'all. This is crazy because 2 more American troops are dead. So they got to ante up, the ballistic missiles. Iran killed 2 U.S. service members defending against a wave of Iranian ballistic missiles and drone attacks in Jordan on Friday. See, I don't know if they're defending Israel, some type of, establishment Israel got going on. But it seems like they're sacrificing our soldiers. They want us in this damn holy war. See, I don't want this. You got to fight for damn Israel at this point. But I can see it unraveling. I can see the connections unraveling, surely but slowly. But Israel wants this forever lasting war, this holy war of Yahweh, or what they call Yahweh the Destroyer. See, Benjamin Netanyahu, he worships Yahweh. A lot of y'all worship Yahweh too. Y'all got the same God, what they call the God of the Bible. But they refer to the God of refer to him as the God of the Bible. He's never referred to as the God of the universe for that very reason. Okay. And this God controls the air. Okay. Go look at his characteristics, man. Matches down to the T. Yeah, this is a biblical holy wars. So government and religion is the same. Y'all try to separate the two, but y'all got caught red-handed. So really, the papacy, religion is just a cover-up for war. That's it. And the excuse is the God of the Bible, and retribution is in the spirit of Christ. Family, it's an scapegoat for killing other people, unaliving. Sorry, I love TikTok. I love YouTube. I didn't mean to say that. We are just relaying the message that we're being told. It marks the first fatalities to U.S. military personnel since President Trump ended the ceasefire with Iran last week. 4 additional troops were medically evacuated to hospitals in Jordan. See, they got scars and shrapnel all in their fucking body. You know, they probably gonna be devastated for life. And I told you, it's very odd. Why doesn't Iran, or what they call Israel, why don't Iran ever attack Israel? It doesn't make sense. Personally, I think Iran and Israel are working together. I'm gonna be honest with you. And the only way we can win this war is if we call Captain Planet, aka the nuclear bomb. I already told you what I'd do. If I was President Trump, I nuke all them motherfuckers over there. To be honest with you, I ain't got time to be playing. I ain't got time to be playing. Some say them nukes fuck up the weather. Fuck it. Let's all. Y'all want to ride this bitch out? Fuck it. Let's all die. At this point, the thing is, they was killing us slow anyway. They had us on slow kill through the scandemic. You know, they was gonna slow kill us. Trump just speeding up what they was already gonna do anyway. You know what I'm saying? So if you're in the midst of that, your ass is in trouble. Let me be honest with you. Your ass is in big trouble if you're in the crosshairs of this war. If you riding around some damn migrants, that's part of these communist countries, and you end up in the wrong spot, that you're a part of the war. You're a part. If you're not checking your surroundings, you're a part of the war. Pete Hegseth posted on X that their deaths will not deter the U.S. military. Godspeed, heroes. Godspeed. Their sacrifice only stiffens our resolve. See, the soldiers are the sacrificial lamb for this war. And some say in certain wars, like the Ukraine war, they sent handicapped soldiers. Yes, the soldiers, when we did an episode on it, Zelensky was out there sending handicapped soldiers to fight in the war. And I think one got blown up. I think he picked up the damn rocket. It was a dud at first, and you know, they slow and all, and he picked up the rocket, blew up in his face. He thought it was a toy. But yeah, those are the type of people. It's just dirty, man. Damn, man, that's crazy. The mentally challenged soldier thought the rocket was a damn toy. He picked it up, it blew up in his face. So this shit's crazy. I think they just trying to get people up out of here. They trying to reincarnate these souls, and this is the fastest way they could do it. See, they got to keep their cycle of reincarnation going on. They can't stop the murder. That's the whole point of the devil, is to keep you coming back to earth, like in the end of Revelations. That's the devil bringing his kingdom back to earth. You're not escaping the matrix, man. This is a holy war. This is the battle of Armageddon. And yes, you have doomsday prophecies out there. You have spooks out there. But guess what? This is rumors of wars. Yes. Rumors of famine. But are you starving? Some people are. Some people ain't make the right choices because they're fighting an internal war. Okay. It says Democrats, however, exploited the tragedy. You already know they're going to exploit the tragedy, and you already know Trump is going to continue the war. It just is what it is. 2 dead soldiers. There's going to be some sacrifices. But like I said, where was the interceptors at? Let's pull this up. They supposed to have interceptors. Hold on. And I don't think they all intercepted the missiles. Oh, here it goes. See, they know about our weaponry. Especially if China is using our weaponry, making our weaponry, like because you gotta think, Chinese, they're naturally smarter than Americans when it comes to technology. So who's more powerful? Who's more powerful? The tech gurus? Because that's who's gonna win at the end of the day. Zionism is technology, and that technology sector is gonna win. That's why you think Trump trying to put up all these data centers? Even though they drink water, guess what? These data centers gonna end up saving your ass, and it's gonna end up wiping humanity out at the same time. But there's nothing you could do for it because evil has reached its height. Now you have to have technology intercepting it. Like, technology was originally for making your life better, but guess what? Technology is a defense against God's natural habitat. Like, you build houses, building a house is a part of being technological savvy. You build a house to get away from God's wrath. Because if you was a true indigenous human being, you'll just let the shit rain on you. Yeah. But do you take do you take cover and let God wipe you away with a natural disaster? So guess what? They got to play with the weather. All that technology is to play with the weather, but whoever's controlling it, yeah, that defers who's good or evil or not. The man behind the curtain, called the Wizard of Oz, or aka the Kingdom of Zion. See, they intercepting some of these missiles. They're not intercepting all of them. I think like 2 or 3 got through and killed the soldiers, injured. Man, what the hell y'all doing on this base, man? And why are missiles getting through this dome? There go one. One went through. One went through. Hold on, there's more stuff too. Make sure I bookmark all of this. U.S. President Donald Trump has ordered CENTCOM to open the gates of hell. He opening up the gates of hell on Iran following the deaths of American service members in Jordan. So this, like I said, this was the complete right? No, this isn't AI dummies. So there's dummies out there that believe everything is AI, so they can't explain and articulate themselves. So they'll blame it on AI. There's people out there. It's called the AI code, the artificial intelligence code. They so dumb they can't articulate themselves, so they blame it on AI. Man, that gotta be scary as hell, y'all. You go from riding in a damn Charger to this shit.
Military command center in the Middle East. Iran launched 557 missiles at America.
557 missiles to kill 2 Americans and injured 30. That's a lot of damn missiles, but they just trying to prove a point. And the thing is, you got Trump out here saying that their Air Force is defeated, but this ain't who he think it is. See, I think, okay, a certain part of their operation is depleted, but these ain't the Iranians, dude. These are not the Iranians, dude. It's somebody else that's got joint command with the Iranians. Because he keep on coming out here saying that everything's obliterated. But we keep on seeing this shit. What is really going on? Is somebody relaying him bad news, or somebody telling him to say some shit that ain't true? And whoever that dude is needs to be fired. Whoever telling Trump to come out here and say this shit's obliterated needs to be fired, because to our understanding, they don't have no damn Navy or Air Force. So is this China? It can't be Iran, because he keeps on saying it's depleted. What is that? What is that name of that group? ROGTC or something like that? The command RGC, something like that. Who are those motherfuckers? We don't ever get the intel on who those people are. I think those is Iranians and Israelis and China. That's who I think it is. I think it's all 3 of those heads combined. That's dangerous.
America's most critical military command center in the Middle East. 7 years of planning, $9.3 billion, and it bought them exactly 85 seconds. Here is the full story. Deep beneath the Qatari desert, 40 feet underground, sits the Combined Air Operations Center, the CAOC, at Al Udeid Air Base. This is not just a building. This is America's war brain for the entire Middle East. Every airstrike, every mission, every life and death military.
And to be that close, you should already know they about to bomb shit. That's the thing, to be that close. That's not far from Iran. It's just across the river. So they shoot those ballistic missiles from afar. That's a long way.
Military decision across the region flows through this single facility. Iran knew that. And for 16 years, they studied it. Their conclusion was this: destroy the CAOC, And you don't just destroy a building, you blind the most powerful military force on earth. You cut the command voice that turns 40 individual aircraft into one unified, unstoppable force. So Iran built a plan to do exactly that. 557 missiles, 4 waves, 5 directions, all arriving within 85 seconds. This was not a random missile barrage. This was applied physics with warheads. The first wave, 103 ballistic missiles, was designed to exhaust America's Patriot defense batteries before the real weapons arrived. The second wave, 141 heavier missiles, hammered the 12 meters of compacted earth above the CAOC's reinforced concrete roof. Their job was excavation. Strip away the protection layer by layer. The third wave, 177 hypersonic glide vehicles traveling at Mach 12Ds, drove tandem penetrating warheads through the now compromised concrete and detonated inside.
So I guess they finding out where these ballistic missiles are getting launched from. He took it out. Trump trying to find that mole, that naked mole rat. That's who he's trying to find. That mole. He can't find that mole. Because I believe BB is taken out. BB's taken out. Now you got to find who's really pulling the strings. Trump is trying to find the Wizard of Oz. He don't show himself. That's the thing. So we're trying to find out who this guy is. Because we don't never hear from their personnel. Like, we don't know who's talking. It seems like it's an AI. Like, they got this shit ran on autopilot. Because if that's the case, they're crazy. Whoever is running this thing, this system over there, they running it on autopilot.
The structure. The fourth wave, 136 cruise missiles, simultaneously destroyed every antenna, every satellite uplink, every communications line on the surface. Even if the building survived, it would be deaf, dumb, and blind. 4 categories, 5 vectors, 85 seconds. Iran had spent 7 years engineering this exact sequence. But here...
That shit crazy. Hold on, we got some more. And I heard China and Iran was shooting these down with these ballistic heat sensor missiles. So the heat sensor missiles would sense the exhaust in the back of the F-15 fighter jet, and that's what they would key in on. There they go. Hold on, I think I got some more. Iranian ambassador to Russia. If American ground troops come, the situation will be better, and then our war will become a manly war. I am not sure they will be able to remove the bodies of American soldiers from that region. Damn, he talking shit for real. This dude talking shit. Who is this?
You welcome
soldiers. Right now, the Americans are attacking us from the air and then fleeing, and we do not have access to them. We know how to access the Americans. If they come, it will be good and appropriate, because then our war will become land-based and manly. In a land...
See, they want them boots on the ground. Y'all about to send y'all kids up? You know what the Democrats are saying? Democrats are saying if we voted for Trump, we should send our kids out to war, get their head blown off by whoever, Muhammad and shit. Because at this point, man, we don't know who is controlling these people. It could be him. Who's this dude? You don't know if he's an Iranian or an Israeli. But most likely he's behind the curtain.
War, the Iranians are zealous. Iran will not allow its territory to be in the hands of anyone else. And the Americans will definitely cause many deaths.
Wait. You're saying you welcome? I'm hearing you say that you would almost welcome a U.S. invasion of Iran. Is that what you're saying?
ما به اینا میگیم که
Our answer is that if you want to enter Iran, it is no problem, but we will definitely fight you like men. We are not telling them to come. We are not looking to.
Ain't nobody fighting nobody like, man. Are you talking about hand-to-hand combat in 2026? Nobody has time for that. Nobody has time for that. They trying to get people who's gathered together and they want to blow them all up at one time. Nobody's hand-to-hand shooting no more. This is 3D warfare. Okay. This is what they call advanced warfare. Nobody's shooting.
Kill. But if someone invades our land and thinks that they can easily take Iran, they are mistaken. Iran is not a conquerable land, and American soldiers will definitely suffer a great calamity. And
We said it's not a comparable land. That means it don't matter what you. That's what they're saying. It don't matter what you do, because you got to abide by certain Geneva codes too. You can't just blow up civilians, but they do it anyway. They get away with it anyway. They do it to their own people.
do not know if they will be able to remove the bodies of American soldiers from the region.
So you talking out his neck. This is 8 hours ago. It looks, what do you say? It looks very much like the U.S. is going to fight a major war that it could very well lose for Israel.
Notice. Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Doherty, aka Joshua Lloyd Fox. Something happened today I've seen less than a handful of times in 30 years working for the Department of Defense. The State Department issued a worldwide red notice to all U.S. citizens around the world to
see this shit? They letting out notices to all U.S. citizens around the world that could be in danger. So if you're an American, that's what I said, man. It's not y'all trying to travel out of state. Y'all trying to travel out the country. You got a whole world war going on, and then if they find out who you are in these other countries, you know, you go wind up a POW. Comment section open. Comment section open.
come home. Basically because of the growing tensions between the United States and Iran. Yesterday, President Trump ordered CENTCOM to open the gates of hell against Iran for the loss of 2 U.S. service members in missile strikes in Jordan. And this map is being circulated in Israeli media right now. The first time I saw it was about 3 days ago. Ben Shapiro posted it, which I don't really believe anything out of him, but this is circulating right now showing a massive ground invasion of Iran where the United States' responsibility is along that southern coastline of the Persian Gulf or the Gulf of Oman. And that's exactly where we have been pounding for about 2 weeks now. We've been pounding artillery shells in that area. I want you all to remember, I reported back in April and May that the 31st MEU, the 111th MEU, the 81st Airborne are all in theater. There's roughly 50,000 U.S. service members in the Middle East, most of them dedicated to ground invasion assaults. Marine Expeditionary Units, there's 2 of them over there, 5,000 Marines whose sole purpose is ground invasion, have been over there for 3 months training and getting ready for something. So apparently we're opening up the gates of hell, and the State Department issued a worldwide red notice today to all U.S. citizens around the world. I've only seen that like 5 times in 30 years of working for the DoD. That was issued just a few minutes ago. Stay tuned. I know U.S. media is not reporting on any of this, and so we're not going to know what's exactly happening or going to happen. But if you watch outside U.S. media sources, Al Jazeera, BBC, some of those others, we might get rumors or hint of rumors about what's happening. So stay tuned. Gates of hell, red notice, worldwide red notice, just issued by the State Department. In my experience, that's a really big deal. Last time I saw it was right after 9/11. Until next time, I love you all. Joshua Lloyd Fox, over and out.
Let's see what else we can find. Alex Jones said the same thing. I think he might be live.
Hello, everybody. This is Joshua Doherty, aka Joshua Lloyd Fox.
Let's see what else we got. See this one. Let's see right here. It says 6 p.m. President Donald Trump says we've reached an understanding with China regarding Iran. Beijing will not provide weapons to Iran. We've discussed this issue with them. China responded, there has been no such discussion. Damn. Washington appears to be making these announcements on its own without inform. Damn. China. Damn, y'all. What the fuck? It's a big miscommunication. If this is true, this is a big miscommunication. Because China, they was meddling in our elections. So whatever Trump say goes, honestly. You interfere with our elections, you are now a part of our government. You're getting sucked in. China ain't trying to get sucked in. China is denying it because it doesn't want the world to know the truth. Even if no agreement exists, people continue to pressure China not to supply. Let's see. Fox News, Joey, question Trump's Iran strategy. Let's see.
Backroom deals that is favorable because of, the neighbors in the region not wanting an escalated war, because of backroom deals that might be made that could be better for everyone. Things like every time we knock a drone down in Ukraine, we have to take it apart because it's different than the drone before it. So the advancing of technology and how Iran is wrapped into that when it comes to our foes like China and Russia, all kind of answers to that. People at home don't get a chance to have those answers. They don't get a chance to understand if a nuclear facility is fully decimated because you can't get to the material easy, or if it's fully decimated because you've killed all of the nuclear scientists that were using it. Those are the nuances in this that we don't get a lot on and that we don't have an opportunity to understand. What we do understand very well is when 2 Americans are killed by an airstrike that most Americans sit around and say, how's that even possible? Don't we have defensive weapons? Didn't we take out their missiles? So when we talk in hyperbole and we talk in grand.
Right. Then we just say that. You're like, how is this happening? If we took out all their, communications and weapons and shit, somebody's getting lied to, y'all. I think somebody lying to Trump and then he come and lie to us. That might be the case because Trump, he's trying to figure out who's lying to him because he got to report back to us. So he's looking for a mole. He's looking for a mole, y'all. Sorry, people gotta perish because of it. But like I said, some people that work for NATO, they secretly work all these secret general. This is a military-industrial complex you're dealing with at this point. This is the process of taking down the misuse of the military-industrial complex.
And statements. Sometimes reality hits us in the face and we lose to Americans in Jordan where most of us thought that wasn't really on the table anymore. And when I say most of us, I mean Americans, not necessarily myself. that is the balancing act that this administration is going to have to walk if they're continuing this war. And I don't mean continuing to escalate it. I think that that's something that Iran has done. I mean, we put an MOU on the table. We put parameters in place to get away from attacking anything, and they started attacking ships. But, I often say that President Trump is speak loudly and carry a big stick. And right now might be the time that the big stick part of it matters most, because simply dropping bombs from the air isn't stopping them from doing what they want to do.
Joey, what is that big stick? Because, I mean, the president told, or Ed Lawrence, I played that soundbite for you earlier in the newscast, where he said he's open to taking them out like he did ISIS. But wiping out ISIS also took years, right? And those were a completely different group of people. I mean, they were like out there wearing flip-flops. I mean, this is the IRGC.
Yeah, I think that is the question, Aisha. What is the big stick? I think the biggest thing they could do to show they mean business is to retract fully from all diplomatic efforts, pull everyone back, pull all the comms back, be incredibly strategic, not tactical, meaning picking your targets methodically, not just a bunch of them at once, and scaring the will out of the leaders of Iran. That takes time, and time is not on our side. We're running to November right now. We're running to 2028 right now as a country politically. We're also running away from the gas pump. And so it takes time. It takes a little bit of leverage. And both of those things, I think the president has less and less of every week this moves on. But I think the country, people appreciate and respond to consistency.
He's been very consistent on bombing Iran, so go see where that goes. Let's see what else we got. Iran, because we all wanted to know this. It's just Iran avoids a direct large-scale attack on Israel, primarily due to military deterrence, strategic preference for proxies, and self-preservation. Iran talks tough, DEATH, you know what? Talking about wiping them off the map, but acts programmatically a full direct assault risk regime ending retaliation. But the thing is, why not just this is weird to me. This is weird. I've always wondered this. They got a damn policy on why they can't attack Israel. So what the fuck? Do they got nukes or what? Israel military edge and deterrence. Superior capabilities. Israel has advanced air defense, Iron Dome. But what the fuck? Direct attack, because I thought that was what the Holy War was for. This shit ain't making no sense. Somebody come clear this up. Shit ain't making no sense, man. If Israel and United States are allies, why would they need ground troops if they could just wipe out Iran? Don't make sense, does it? Nobody's telling us the truth about this war. You just have to figure it out for yourself. They can't come out and tell you the truth, or the whole establishment will fall. So you gotta figure it out for yourself. The truth is within, so you gotta figure it out for yourself. It's like a whole family. It ain't just no region, it's a whole family. And allegedly there's 7 of them. Seven families that run the world. Don't say there's more than that, but those first 7 pretty much pull the strings. Iran is engaged in escalating conflict with the U.S. Strikes on bases, vessels of Hormuz, retaliation, killing U.S. personnel. Allies like Russia and China provide some diplomacy but won't fight for Iran and Assur. I mean, of course, but in short, Iran prefers death by 1,000 cuts via proxies. Yeah, basically, in hybrid tactics over a direct war, it would likely lose badly. So why don't they just attack? Just look, it says, look, Iran targets Gulf states and U.S. bases. Spares Israel in its latest attack. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make, somebody come clear this up. Somebody come clear this up. Boy, because we all asking this. Iran, it said, dude said Iran was never going to nuke America. Iran was never going to nuke. Right. Iran would never nuke Israel. So why is Israel attacking Iran? Iran is attacking everyone except one country. Strange, isn't it? Somebody come answer that. Iran continues its heroic campaign against Zionism by attacking every country except for Israel. He said Trump has not won any war with Iran. I'm afraid the regime is still there, but the long-range missile is still operational. So what the fuck?
With it. And so there is a little bit of, once Trump had decided to go in, once we were at war with Iran, it was in all our interest to actually make that work. As Middle East minister for a number of years, it always saddened me that we'd not done enough to stand up to Iran, that it had such a toxic influence across the Middle East through its proxies and what it was actually doing, and it got away with it. And so there is a little bit of me that actually understands why Trump has been frustrated. Successive American presidents have had to deal with Iran since 1979. Here we have a president willing to cross the line, but then doesn't have a plan.
In fairness, Trump did answer that, didn't he? Because he said, after he won the war against Iran, then the British offered help. He wasn't interested in it.
But he's
Although,
not,
of course...
Sorry, he's not won any war with Iran. I'm afraid the regime is still there. The long-range missiles are still operational. So are the Shahads and so forth. And as we know, and you know better than me, he's got absolute control over the Straits of Hormuz. And the consequence of that is that you've actually emboldened this regime. In fact, I'd argue the regime's worse because you've got the IRCG now taking on power in Iran as well.
Who is the IRCG? Who is the IRCG? And what country controls them? Because we don't never figure out Iran's most powerful military, political, and economic force. It stands for the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. Islam. But the thing is, this could fall over many other categories as well. Talking about political, economics, you got everybody that got their hand in this shit. This is like its own little United Nations, honestly. 'Cause you fighting with these are basically gangs with inside the World Economic Forum. They all eat at the same table. It's just a gang, an establishment of that World Economic Forum. And Trump trying to take these motherfuckers out. It ain't all of them. It's just a group of them. But they all work together. Military runs its own ground force, navy, especially in the Persians, aerospace, missiles, drones. It also controls the Iran ballistic missile program and much of its nuclear-related activities, proxy warfare overseas. Overseas and funds the actions of resistance with groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, Houthis, and Shia militias in Iraq. So they got their gang too. Huge business empire controlling oil, construction, smuggling, and other sectors. Estimated control up to 50% of Iran's economy. Initial security, brutal suppressor of protests, politics embedded in government. Many top officials, parliament members, and even presidents have IRGC backgrounds, and it answers directly to the supreme leader, Ali. Who is this motherfucker? Ali Kamel. I think Trump killed his ass too, didn't he? This dude. This son of a bitch right here. He blew him to smithereens. That's his favorite word. He blew him to smithereens. So he part of the IRCG. He died February 28th. Ali Khamenei. Ali Khamenei. Ali Khamenei. Israel took it. They said Israel took him out. Israel took him out. These are joint operations by Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, they still seeking revenge for this dude.
Big deal. Now, I know what the real criticism is and what the smart people are saying. It's not, oh, China, they're not an issue. They're not trying to organizations and groups, which they are.
Why can't we hear
It's all
that?
Israel, because Israel's doing a bunch of the same stuff and so is to China. No. That's another reason they shouldn't merge the Pentagon.
Oh, yeah. Let me fix this up for us.
People in the DOJ, it's him, and you see it in the news. And Trump's up there, get it done, indict, go after him. He's trying to get voter ID. The SAVE Act finally passed the House, now it's going to pass the Senate. Trump legitimately knows this is important. He's really trying. But then because Todd Blanche lies to him and kisses his ass, he leaves him right there. So where are the indictments? You have NSA officials, CIA officials in the emails confirmed, released by Tulsi Gabbard, given to Trump back in November, presented to him. And she gets run out. And it takes Trump 7-8 months to finally have this event. Should have been doing it back then. Where are the indictments? You have NSA and CIA officials by name so arrogant, I've got the emails right here, that they're saying we're not going to tell Trump about the Chinese and about the shipping in the ballots and stealing the voter registration rolls and accessing the computers and flipping the votes. And you saw that same graph in the 5 battleground states where they closed the voting, they claimed, they stopped the counting, they covered the windows, vans pull in, Chinese men unload boxes of ballots, and then you see Biden go from being lower than Trump with the organic curve to popping up above him. Let's pull up the famous F graph where it's organic curve and then bloop, 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 bloop. And back at the time it came out, we had FBI whistleblowers at the time, high level, counter-espionage, counterterrorism, say they were investigating China and they had them dead to rights. And we had whistleblowers in the Democratic Party. There's still some people in there that are like, whoa, this is spying. And the FBI higher up killed it. That's all in here. They need to be indicted. The senior FBI, the senior NSA, the senior CIA. And you can say, well, they're so corrupt, it'll never happen. Well, we have to hammer this home.
The precision in which they were able to strike sensitive targets within Jordan. And the reporting is indicating that perhaps China or Russia was feeding them targeting information.
Y'all hear that? I told you that's what it was. Didn't we say that before he said it? He said it was China. I don't know about Russia, but China, I'm sure. But the thing is, hasn't everybody known this base was here for the last 50 years? That's not a secret. See, they trying to, don't play in my damn face. Everybody knows where these damn military bases are. You got spy. Everybody know where everybody's military bases are. Come on. Just another soft target. But it took 571 missiles to do it.
Now, we need to get to the bottom of that, particularly if we're talking about China, the precision in which they were able to strike sensitive targets within Jordan. And the reporting is indicating that perhaps China or Russia was feeding them targeting information. Now, we need to get to the bottom of that, particularly if we're talking about China, the precision in which they were able to strike sensitive targets within Jordan. And
we have to discredit these machines, and we have to get rid of them. France doesn't have machines, and their election closes every.
Just and U.S. officials fear China or Russia may be helping Iran strike U.S. targets. Iran is now firing maneuverable missiles traveling at extremely high speeds.
First, we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that, but today we're going to talk about how we can find out and how much we can find out and what it takes to get there. So first we have to decide how much do we want to find out. So let's say in this case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down to where it intersects with my fuck around line. Now there's going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out.
You'll never find out. Fuck around and find out. That's the whole concept of this administration. And if you don't fuck around, you'll never find out. FAFO. That shit real in real life. That's a real life concept. Fuck around and find out. This strategic, man. You gotta find out who it is. You gotta fuck around. Fuck around and find out. He ain't lying when he said that. He ain't lying at all. So, hold on.
Time by midnight, because it's all could have been done, and that is the top of the line because it's forcing it through fast.
The report
around 95 to 99%. No fair in defense,
while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Go to bruxnightguard.com and order your.
Why? I mean, we know. Your audience, I'm looking at the chat. Everyone in our audience know that this is not about nuclear weapons. I bring it up because you guys know I watch my enemies. I watch what these Gulf leaders say. These Gulf leaders say, yeah, I will agree that we should help prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Why are they saying that? So that's why these stories are important to bring up. So when they see the headline about Trump making a nuclear deal with Saudi Arabia where there won't be any international checks, they're like, what the fuck? And we like, I told you. We just sitting on the sideline. We told you. And these liberals, these Muslim liberals in the Gulf, they have to learn the hard way. And because we know what this war is about. This war about removing Iran as a regional check to the Zionist regime and their endless expansionist project. Everything else is bullshit. If you think Donald Trump, you think Ben Gvir cares about the Iranian people? You think Benjamin Netanyahu? You think these crazy Israeli settlers? You think fucking Sean Hannity? You think Ben Shapiro is a bleeding heart liberal about the rights of Iranian? No, they don't. It's about removing a
AlexJonesStore.com. Keep here, be healthier, have a better life, a true 360 win. Thank you for your life, a true 360 win. Thank you for your support. And the gummies are discounted for a limited time out of the gates. Again, at the AlexJonesStore.com.
Days, weeks, and even years ahead of the news cycle. AlexJonesLive.com is tomorrow's news today.
Iranian missile and drone strikes aided by sophisticated Chinese technology, hitting some of America's most crucial military assets in the Middle East. The extent of the damage unknown until now. Our Tamara Kablawi is out front.
Camp Buehring, Kuwait. American soldiers enjoying a karaoke night at one of the biggest U.S. military hubs in the Gulf. That was then. This is now. A once bustling American microcity in the desert, nearly empty and heavily damaged after a weeks-long barrage of Iranian missiles and drones. One of many U.S. military facilities in the oil-rich Arabian Peninsula, targeted by Iran even as the U.S. and Israel pummeled the Islamic Republic's large arsenal. So what impact have Iran's strikes had on America's footprint in the Middle East? A CNN investigation found evidence of unprecedented destruction. We can reveal that strikes damaged at least 16 U.S. installations across 8 countries. According to our analysis and sourcing, that's the majority of American military positions in the region, and some of them are virtually unusable now. A U.S. source familiar with the situation told us that they'd never seen anything like this at American bases, that these were rapid, targeted strikes using advanced technology. Iran's main targets? Multi-million-dollar aircraft, like this Boeing E-3 Sentry, which gave the U.S. a huge amount of visibility over the Gulf. It's out of production, and in today's money, it's worth nearly $500 million. Critical communications equipment. Look at these giant golf balls. They're known as radomes, and they protect satellite dishes vital for data transmission. In this base alone, Iran destroyed all but one of the radomes less than a month into the war. And crucially, radar systems. Highly sophisticated, expensive, difficult to replace, and critical to air defense. A second U.S. source, this one a congressional aide familiar with damage assessments, described these as the most cost-effective of the targets. Our radar systems, they said, are our most expensive and our most limited resource in the region. For U.S. allies in the region, there's a dilemma. In some ways, Iran's show of force makes the U.S.'s presence in the region even more necessary to Gulf security. But there's a new reality here, which is that U.S. military installations, previously seen as formidable fortresses, have turned into sitting targets. As a Saudi source told me, the war has shown Saudi Arabia, that's the U.S.'s longest-standing Arab ally, that the alliance with the U.S. cannot be exclusive, and it is not, in their words, impregnable. To get a sense of just how vulnerable U.S. facilities have become, have a look at this. It's the war room at Qatar's El Udeid Air Base, the theater command and control hub for U.S. air power across 21 nations. Struck not just once, but twice, and according to a U.S. source, causing significant damage. The base had been largely evacuated at this point, and no casualties were reported. Iran's visibility over its targets has never been clearer. In 2024, according to the Financial Times, Tehran secretly acquired a Chinese satellite, known as the TEE-01B, a massive upgrade from its own satellites. That means that Tehran went from looking at images of this quality to this. This is the first time America has fought an adversary with satellites that capture high-res imagery almost as detailed as its own. As the scale of the damage comes into focus, many will wonder whether America's presence, once a protective shield in the Middle East, has turned into its Achilles heel. Responding to our findings, a Pentagon official said that the Defense Department does not discuss damage assessments, but that U.S. forces remain fully operational with the same readiness and combat effectiveness. We also understand from our sources that the vast majority of U.S. troops evacuated their positions in the Middle East, with many working from the relative safety of hotels and apartments in the Arabian Peninsula.
What stands out to you about all this?
Well, Aaron, what's interesting is that the U.S. intercept rate is likely somewhere in the 95% level right now. These look predominantly like drone strikes. That's our assessment, the Shaheeds that did this rather than Iranian ballistic missiles. But it does show if the intercept rate is somewhere around the 95% level, that 5% or so are getting through and they are having damage. So the system that the U.S. has in place is not foolproof. It's very good, but it's not foolproof. And I would just say sort of big picture of your shift to the Indo-Pacific with the PLA, the Chinese People's Liberation Army Rocket Force, U.S. bases across the region, Japan, Philippines, and other places are going to be at much more severe danger than what we're seeing now in the Middle East.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when you talk about with the damage done by the drones, right, that the missile interceptor rate may be, exceptional. 5% can cause huge damage, but then there's the drone.
For 10 years to hand everything over. Yeah, if you got time, we got it. Someday we're going to talk about this. So their plan is to exterminate us. And the one thing that people who've seen communist revolutions say afterwards that's consistent is we never had any idea they would go this far. We thought they were going to change the tax rates. They thought that we were going to change our national anthem. They will exterminate. Their plan is to exterminate every American. And sometimes I've tried to talk about this and some dumb guy in the audience will say, let them, I've got all these guns, let them take it. They don't understand. They're not going to come at you like Red Dawn with bombers filled with parachutists. They create a world like The Walking Dead. You've seen The Walking Dead.
And let me explain this. Let me back you up here. In their own actuaries and our own Pentagon actuaries, because we're just on time delivery, 90% are urban, even in the rural, only about half are somewhat self-sufficient. In the Great Depression, we were 90% rural, about half self-sufficient, still between 7 and 11 million died in university studies from malnutrition. If any major society collapses today and things break down, you get upwards of 90% of the population dead within 1 year of starvation, war. And so these modern societies are very precarious, extremely tottering and weak. And that's what they're talking about destabilizing. And COVID was just the softening up, getting us ready for this. And what you say, Larry Grafwall was a Green Beret, highly decorated Vietnam, going to a major college. And the communists tried to, the literal Weatherman leadership liked him and came to him. We're talking the heads of it. And it later came out, he died over a decade, that Obama was in these meetings. And some of them, he infiltrated them for the FBI, recorded it all. And they said, we're going to break down society, Cloward and Piven collapse everything. Then most people will starve to death. And then the Chinese will come in and take over. And this is in the 80s, he's saying this. I mean, this is a real plan. Go ahead.
Correct. And now you're absolutely correct. Now, I thought the Cloward Piven was going to be that out of the rubble, the left emerges as the communist leaders of the United Socialist States of America or something. It's much worse than that.
No, I agree. That's what they tell the average commie. They don't know they're all going to be killed as well.
It's all extermination. You read the secret speech of Chertoff, we're all to be exterminated. And other than 20 million whites, because they're very racist, the Chinese. And, this was all you can read. I'll tell you something I might not even supposed to say. But there was a secret national security exercise 22 years ago where they modeled what happens if Ebola hits, what happens if there's an EMP, or there's a financial collapse. And the national security state modeled this in a 6-week war game. Well, they cut it off after a couple of weeks because what they discovered horrified them. The CIA, everybody was involved. And what they discovered very quickly is society collapses much more quickly than we imagine it would. And
15 days. I've seen the report.
And there was a CIA futurist who was given the assignment to write this as a report that the public could digest. He wrote it up as a novel. The novel is called 1 Second After. And in the opening page of the novel,
9 people with gunshot wounds. Jason Rantala joins us live from outside the Rain nightclub on the 2900 block of Hennepin. Jason, what have you been able to learn?
This was a nightclub.
Esme, it's quite a different scene here outside that.
This is a mass shooting at a nightclub. 9 dead. You got they little vigilantes going around America, and they know where people go be out at. Malls, shopping outlets.
Nightclub. Minneapolis police say that gunfire erupted after an altercation last night. The street outside the club was littered with evidence markers after police say 9 people were injured in this mass shooting. Officers from all 5
But remember in Cincinnati, you had the Russians coming in America starting shit. I told you got every country coming over here starting shit with Americans, man. And then when somebody retaliates, it's a big problem.
precincts arrived just after midnight. They say a large crowd was outside when it happened. Police say 2 people have possible life-threatening injuries. 7 others are expected to survive. Victims range in age from 18 to 27.
Shuts off. And it's about how for 2 or 3 days, neighbors are neighbors, making each other pies, cleaning out the refrigerators. And the UN, if Joe Biden were president, the UN would be invited in with their troops to fight racism or something. It would all be impossible to fight your way out of. 3 years later, China occupies it as new China. And by the way, when 2020 happened, we know, and I was told this by the intelligence community, they thought they had it. They thought they had it. They originally had the plan in 1949 to conquer us by 2049. Around 2010, they accelerated the plan from 2049 to 2030. When they took us over, when they did what they did in 2020 and got Biden, they started saying this is all going to be over by 2025, maybe 2026, 2027. And they started distributing deeds in China. Your home there in Dallas or Austin or wherever you live, your home, some Chinese general got a deed that said this is going to be your home when this smoke clears. And that general for the last 6 years has been looking up on Google Earth, looking at your home. He saw that new hot tub you put in your backyard. He thanks you for it, Alex. He's since 2020 fall, he's been thinking he got that he was going to be living there by 2026. every home in America of any size, any nice home,
to change the narrative in the Middle East by using strategic weaponry.
Hold on, let me pull this up. See what this dude said.
Like this. Now, in terms of the damage, the first thing I want to highlight, and the first attack we saw, is this particular attack. What happened here is
Can't even hear what he said. He must have said something crazy.
Is Iran attacked U.S. troops as they were preparing to attack you.
Let's pull this up. Oh, okay, here we go. Starting crazy shit. All right.
What I'm trying to say here is Iran's absolutely bringing out the big guns. Iran is trying to change the narrative in the Middle East by using strategic weaponry like this. Now, in terms of the damage that Iran done, the first thing I want to highlight, and the first attack we saw, is this particular attack. What happened here is, allegedly, is Iran attacked U.S. troops as they were preparing to attack Iran. They ambushed them and they caught them by surprise. They specifically attacked the American HIMARS system, which has been incredibly effective in Ukraine against the Russians. Now, Trump came out, CENTCOM came out and said nothing of the sort happened. But a few days later, we saw a few medical evacuations from the Middle East, which is most likely from this Iranian attack. What else have we seen? Now, this is also a very interesting attack. This is in northern Iraq. The Iranians seem to have attacked something in the airport in Erbil, which is where the Americans are stationed, and it's on fire. Now, a day later, the Iranians released this satellite image, which shows that they attacked a Patriot missile defense system. This is the before over here, and this is the after. And as you can see, this is the Patriot missile defense system, which is an incredibly important system for defense against ballistic missiles that the Iranians have. And to actually score a hit on this is incredibly tactical because these are not cheap to produce. There's not a lot of them. And the fact that Iran managed to hit it shows the strategic levels of it. Murtaza, like from the American side, what's Donald Trump's strategy here?
Well, if you look at the way Trump tried to negotiate a deal with the Iranians, it was very inept. He didn't have large technical teams trying to draft a document that both sides would understand the same way or could be implemented very cleanly. It seemed almost like he was capitulating to the Iranians to get them to agree to end the war, but without actually wanting to implement the terms of the agreement. So if you look at the MOU that Trump agreed to, it's quite vague, but also it seems very, very favorable to Iran. And it seemed like the U.S. didn't actually have much appetite to implement its terms, just like it's pretty much backed out on many deals it's made with the Iranians over the past decade under Trump, even attacking them during negotiations and so forth. So I think that we're seeing the consequences of a deal that Trump did not negotiate in good faith. He did not negotiate competently because he didn't actually ensure that the language is clear enough that it could prevent another outbreak of conflict, even due to a misunderstanding between the two sides or a different interpretation of certain things, like what does the control of the Strait of Hormuz mean exactly. For all those reasons, he's been dragged back into the war. But, you know, I'll tell you something. I was talking to people in Iran, analysts and so forth during the war, and it was very interesting because they always said that they expected the U.S. to start the war again. They didn't really trust they would implement this memorandum of understanding.
That's crazy. Hold on. Hold on.
Tens of millions of voter data. Think of that. Tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say, the cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his reelection. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself. Separately, in mid-2019, the Chinese government's strategy against the United States was focused on undermining domestic confidence in the U.S. president. They wanted to just make you sound like your president wasn't so hot, when actually your president has done a great job, and they did everything possible to do exactly that. Going on, this document says, and this is by the CIA, the strategy included efforts to use Chinese contacts with big U.S. companies to influence U.S. business leaders to turn against the President of the United States of America. The Chinese government sought to identify U.S. journalists who had reported negatively on the U.S. president and pay them large sums of money to write more negative articles about him, as many as they could, and they didn't care what they said. The Chinese government wanted U.S. president to lose the next election, and the reason they wanted me to lose is because they knew I was wise to them, charged them billions and billions of dollars worth of tariffs, and built the strongest military anywhere in the world. We have the strongest military anywhere in the world. These are exact quotes from the CIA reporting. The name of the person doing the quote is now under review, but it gets even worse. Raw intelligence obtained by the FBI in 2020, yet buried by rogue bureaucrats, stated that China's activities even included an attempt to manufacture illegal ballots for Joe Biden. Documents show that during this period, dozens of significant CIA and NSA reports about China's election targeting were kept out of the presidential briefing. These were briefings I would get almost every day. Everything was kept out that was of importance. One email among intelligence analysts admitted that they had, quote, deliberately massaged the presidential daily briefing to withhold information regarding Chinese activities related to the election. Another official inside the FBI wrote that she was running, quote, a shadow government, unquote, to keep intelligence about China's election meddling from becoming known and to keep it away from the honorable press. Other officials who witnessed such efforts perceived the motivations to be blatantly political. Recently, we found significant numbers of burn bags in formation, and this is a group of bags that were used to destroy information given by President Barack Hussein Obama to be burned. It was supposed to be burned. These bags were supposed to be at a different level by different people, incinerated and checked, but it never happened. Maybe we got lucky. We believe this was not done on purpose, but rather through gross incompetence of the people that were supposed to burn the bags. But the findings are stunning. Today, I'm asking the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the CIA to investigate how and why such crucial information was hidden, to fire those involved in the cover-up, and to file criminal charges, if appropriate, against these people. Yet concealing China's meddling was only the beginning. The third set of documents we are releasing proves that for many years,
fresh strikes on Iran Saturday night to further destabilize Iran's ability to strike ships in the Strait and attack U.S. bases. Joining me now with analysis is former Trump National Security Advisor Victoria Coates. Victoria, thanks very much for weighing in this morning. Your assessment of these latest developments.
Good morning, Maria. First, I just want to associate myself with the comments from Senator Fetterman from my home state of Pennsylvania, grieving for our two heroes and have prayers for the third that's missing and for their families. That's just, it's an awful thing, and it's a reminder of the cost of war. And I think the president is rightly now looking at ways to escalate against Iran to punish them for that terrible strike on Jordan, and further, as you just said, degrade their capability to take further strikes. Now, looking at what they're targeting this morning, they're going after Aqaba, which is a port in southern Jordan right on the Red Sea where Jordan and Israel meet. So very strategic point, very close to the Suez Canal. That's Iran trying to go after shipping through the Red Sea. That's intolerable. We can't take that. So we're going to see other allies, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, who have very strong interests in that shipping lane, weigh in. But I think what you're seeing is Iran trying to affect more shipping outside of the Strait of Hormuz, as possibly they're starting to lose control of that because of these ongoing strikes.
You know, CENTCOM says that there will be outsized action in retaliation, but I don't understand how it's possible that Iran has the capabilities to fight this way and continue to try to lash out at Gulf countries and U.S. military bases, because the U.S. has obliterated Iran's military, and the president continues to reiterate that.
Yes, and if you look at the numbers of missiles that they've been able to fire off from the beginning of this war, late February, early March, and what they're able to do now, it is very seriously degraded. They've gone from over 100 a day to less than 10, if even that. There have been a number of days where they haven't fired off anything.
Podcasts like this are so essential. Take it under the tongue for maximum absorption. It's liquid, so it's way better than the pills. You know, the pills are the strongest out there. The only way to get better is liquid. This is super concentrate. Get yours for 30% off right now, introductory offer at thealexjonestore.com. And there are almost 1,000 different designs of T-shirts and ball caps at thealexjonestore.com. And some are decent designs. A lot are excellent. Some are the very best out there. I wanted the widest selection. The only problem is it's obnoxious.
With Israel, that would have been impossible 10 years ago. Now it's actually happening in real time.
Well, it's also quite extraordinary that the prime minister of Iraq visited President Trump. And I know that the prime minister of Lebanon is going to Washington and going to meet with President Trump as well. You will also be meeting with the prime minister of Lebanon on Monday. Is that right? Tomorrow morning?
Indeed. And these are two amazing visits, which are getting no coverage because they're good news stories. And we'll start with Prime Minister al-Zaidi of Iraq, a new kind of politician for Iraq. He comes out of the business world. I really hope you get to interview him at some point because he's treating Iraq like a business. And that's why his first visit was to Washington. And he inked deals with Exxon and Chevron. He's working with Syria to restart a pipeline from the 1950s that goes up through Syria from Iraq. So that's the way we're going to be able to move oil. They're already doing it by truck. So huge good news story. And then actually it's President Joseph Aoun. This is the first visit of a Lebanese president in almost 20 years to Washington. It follows the first direct talks between the United States, Israel, and Lebanon in 15 years. Those talks went on last week in Rome. So I think we may get some really important announcements out of President Aoun, and I am looking forward to getting his firsthand views on what's happening on the ground, what's really going on with Israel.
And what about Hezbollah in Lebanon?
Well, that's the big thing, is if Israel and the government of Lebanon unite against Hezbollah, they're not going to be able.
تا برای آمریکایی‌ها گفتم. برای آمریکایی‌ها گفتم. برای ویتکاف. گفتم که تا حالا شده تو جلسه شرکت بکنی که هر لحظه احتمال بدی ممکنه منفجر شه کل جلسه. همونجور هاجواج نگاه میکنی. گفتم تا حالا شده با تلفن صحبت بکنی و احتمال بدی که همون لحظه که داری صحبت میکنی به اصطلاح منفجر شه. تا حالا شده که مثلا چه میدونم وقتی با تلفن احوال مثلا خانواده رو میپرسی به خودت بگی که ممکنه بار آخر باشه. گفتم ما اینا رو تجربه کردیم.
و وایستادیم. با ما یه جور دیگه باید حرف بزن. ما نمیتونیم ما رو تهدید بکنیم.
What it was 5 years ago when Iran could act with impunity in Syria. Now they're getting stopped and blocked. And so it is a huge opportunity to finally defang Hezbollah and remove that awful, awful blight that's been on the beautiful country of Lebanon.
I mean, these are all such serious issues, and yet in Congress, you've got a divide in terms of support for Israel and a divide in terms of support for the president's leadership on this war. How do you see that? I mean, when you look at the polling of Jewish people and of Israel, what's your takeaway in terms of young people and this negative stance toward Israel? Is that because the Democrats in Congress are setting the tone in terms of sentiment around Israel?
This is crazy. We'll keep an eye on this, man. We out.